So the topic for today is going to be college extracurriculars. And so with that, we're going to be covering clubs, sports, leadership on college campuses, campus jobs, and then cover any questions that may arise along the way.
We're going to kind of highlight the clubs at Oregon State, but we definitely want to say that there are clubs at every university, even the community colleges, private universities, all types of clubs. So anyway, well, the first thing I wanted to talk about are some of the reasons that you should join a club or could join a club. And number one is it will help you make friends and have a sense of belonging. And it's known that students that feel like they have a sense of belonging on a college campus are more likely to stay. And of course, having more friends is more fun. It helps to grow your network. So these are people that you're going to know for the rest of your life, and you just never know who might help you out someday. Having a strong network from college is huge when it comes to looking for jobs and just life in general. Again, friends for life, and also business partners and people that you can connect with throughout your career. And then it's also a good way to build your resume, to be involved. You knew that from hearing it in high school, and yeah, that's a good thing to have on your resume. And also it's really great to have fun when you're in college. And sometimes students get really nervous that it's all about going to class and making sure they do great in class, which is very, very important. But it's also really important to have fun while you're in college, because it also helps you to do better in school. And then Jose is going to talk about the number 5. It's if you don't like all the options, which we're going to look at in a minute in the link when he's done telling you, but you can start your own club, and he's going to talk about how you can do that really quick.
Yeah, so one of the things I thought was really cool when I started college is that I was told that if there's something you want to do or be a part of that doesn't already exist on the college campus, you could always take initiative and start your own club. So I, for example, remember my roommate hoping to join a chess club, and there wasn't any chess clubs at my college. And so he started his own, and all he had to do is make sure there was at least 3 other people who were interested. They had to have at least 2 meetings where they had an agenda and they had a sign-in sheet. They had to be able to show that there was at least 4 people total. And then they filled out an application with the college, submitted that paperwork. And with that, they became a legitimate club with access to a budget for their club, with which they were able to purchase chessboards to use for their club, and then also be able to put up posters and flyers around campus to recruit anyone who wanted to join their club. So that's just an idea. If you ever get to college and say, well, I would really like to start an anthropology club or a ultimate frisbee club or something, whatever you would like. And if it's not already there, you can always start your own. So that's a fun fact about clubs in college.
So this is the homepage for Find an Organization. So we're going to explore some of the clubs here. There's so many. It looks like there's 15 pages of clubs to join. Some you can join right away, as you can see, and there's little descriptions about all of them. Some you request info, and this even goes clear into fraternities and sororities, but everything you can think of: the academic bowl team, adaptive technology engineering network, agriculture education club, and this one's all obviously by alphabetical order. But I mean, a page is pretty long, and there's 15 of them. So let's just skip to the middle here. What other types of clubs are there? Ethnic minorities in STEM, another fraternity or sorority, equestrian clubs, like if you like horses, all types. Looks like there's at least four of those, maybe more under different names. The Engineering Student Council, a speaking club, dance team clubs. It just goes on, and it's really cool, all the different types of clubs that you could become a part of at Oregon State. I'm just going to explore a couple of these. So the culture, there's also other types of programs that you can get involved with: community and cultural food program. It just seems to be never ending, the types of clubs there are. So Anyway, that's all basic.
There was something you kind of scrolled over. It said space reservations. So
Oh
another
yeah.
really cool thing is that as being
Yep.
part of the leadership of a club is that you also get to organize the space that you meet in and
Yep.
have the option and support of the college to make sure that you have a gathering place and time.
So yeah, and there's all kinds of help here on this page. Obviously, I should have looked into that a little bit more, but you can request data about your club. You can do events and planning activities, financial, they'll help you with your finances if you have a club. Resources for community engagement. So if you have a club that wants to do like probably community, what am I trying to say? Community projects or get some community service, that's where you would do that. Here's where you can reserve your space, training and tutorials, on event planning, all kinds of stuff, really cool things to help you with your club and to be involved and to stay engaged while you're at Oregon State and many other universities across the state and nation.
Do they cost money? Do I have to pay to be in a club?
I don't think most of them. There might be some small fees, like especially if you join a fraternity and a sorority, of course, they're kind of counting that under the clubs and organizations home. So depending on the type, but I think on the whole, most of them, they might have a few fees for like if you travel or do any competitions, there might be some fees included, or like maybe if you join an arts and craft club, there might be like a fee to get some of the supplies. So I would imagine that's more of what the cost would be.
Yep, that's what I remember as well. Certain clubs,
Yeah.
depending on the situation, they might charge a fee for participation.
Yeah, like the bowling club, you might have to pay for shoes if you don't have any bowling shoes, things like that, but they're very, very minimal. Oregon State is the third largest in the nation for their intramural sports programs. So that's pretty amazing. Out of all the universities in the entire nation, Oregon State has the third largest intramural sports organization. So let's look at some of that. So here's the intramural sports, and you can do different things. So you do pay to play intramural sports because they have to pay for refs, and they pay for, like Ian's job was to organize different sports and put the teams into brackets and all that. So they have student workers that they have to pay. I mean, it's a pretty big program. So you do pay to be involved in intramural sports. And you can see here that they talk about a pass. So you can get one pass per term and play all the sports you want. And then, so that IM pass looks like it's only $20 for the entire term. So this web page has a lot of information. So you register here. You can become a free agent, so you don't have to necessarily join a specific team, but if you're a free agent and say you're signed up for basketball and a team's short a player that night, you could be a free agent and just join that team for the night. So maybe you don't want to commit to an entire term of playing basketball, but you would like to play in a few games, you can become a free agent and join a team on the night that those are happening. You register, you sign up for your leagues. There's all kinds of competitions and trophies at the end of the season. You know, it might be your goal to become an IM Frisbee football champion. And so you put together the best team you can find, or soccer, or there's so many sports offered. Leagues in the spring could consist of soccer, softball, team golf, team tennis, ultimate disc golf. Then these are all the tournaments they have going for the weekends and weekdays. And then additional opportunities, they list those as well. And each term are different sports. But these were all the things that they had for winter term. Inner tube water polo, that's the type I need to play because I'm not that great of a swimmer. But then they have regular water polo, wheelchair basketball, wiffle ball, billiards. Very cool, all types of sports to compete in and have fun with. So badminton, table tennis, you name it. You can even do a little wrestling if you'd like. Water battleship. I don't really know what that is, but it sounds very interesting. Recreational sports, and this is more like the, being outdoors, adventure type sports, maybe just open gym type stuff, not necessarily as organized, possibly. I was trying to figure out exactly, but there's some fitness stuff that they do at their Dixon Rec Center, you can sign up for group fitness classes, wellness coaching, groups and personal training. Let's look at the adventure end of it, adventure leadership. You do a lot of outdoor activities, obviously some rafting, outings and classes. Let's see what those are. You can take credit classes, a bunch of non-credit classes, wilderness medicine. You can get some facilitation skills. There's so much stuff offered at Oregon State. I didn't even have a clue that all these things were available until you really start exploring. And it's absolutely amazing, all the things that you can be involved with. So here's the sport clubs that I was talking about earlier too, that we were going to look at. So we're going to look at sport clubs, and these definitely are more competitive, but not at the collegiate level. So let's say you're really good at soccer, but you didn't make the college soccer team. There's other ways to compete and be really competitive. You can even join a bass fishing club, cycling club, disc golf, like we talked about, equestrian clubs. This is a lot of the clubs that are more pertaining to sports. So, but some of them are very competitive, like the men's soccer club. It says right here, competitive club, and you pay to be in that. And yeah, so really cool stuff.
So if you are interested, let's say in volleyball, and you say, I really want to learn how to become a better volleyball player, but I don't feel very skilled or super competitive, you can always join the lesser competitive league of that intramural, so that you can also have the opportunity to learn and improve your skills with someone who's closer to your level and the place that you're in, while still having fun and not feeling like you are having to compete with pros while you're still learning. So it's a really great opportunity to get into new sports if you want to try something out for the first time.
Yeah, there's 3 levels. So A, B, and C usually. So A's being the more competitive level in the intramural. So these are kids that probably played that sport throughout their life, and they go to college and they still want to be involved, but they don't want to be at the competitive college level. So those intramural sports are very competitive, and it's usually students that have played there, throughout high school at least. And then B will be that in between, like you'll have some that aren't as skilled, but still pretty skilled. And then C is usually the level where students are learning and they want to have fun and just get together, and it's not near as competitive. So that's really cool that they have different levels too for your whatever level you're comfortable at playing at.
We are going to go into this next piece, which is about leadership. And one of the reasons we wanted to include this is because a lot of students don't realize how valuable and important it can be to get involved when they get in college. And you can get involved right off the bat as soon as you start. So one of the key things that a lot of students who are really interested in getting involved on campus to form a part of, especially if they're living on campus, is hall government. And what that means is that if you're living in a residence hall or the dorms, your building probably has a hall government made up of students that live in that building. And what that means is that those student leaders, sometimes elected or sometimes just voluntarily joining hall government, those student leaders will make decisions on how a hall government budget is spent. What that really means is that those students will come together, and their building actually has funds available to put on movie nights, game nights, speed dating nights, or friendship building nights, or even like Halloween decoration competitions, or football watch parties, that sort of stuff. You can put all that on and buy supplies and make flyers and invite everyone in the building to join, to be a part of that. And there has to be a select group of students who are going to lead that and decide how those funds are actually spent in a way that would be appealing to their peers in that building. So it's a really great way to get involved, and it usually starts right as soon as the school year starts. There's usually a campaign that happens within the first couple of weeks. If students want to run to be president or secretary or treasurer or vice president of those hall governments, and usually all buildings have that. So that's a really great way to step into that. A lot of those students that do become part of hall government eventually end up becoming like the preferred candidates to become resident assistants in the buildings, which is a job where someone can work in the residence hall and actually live there and work there while they're going to school at that university. And typically the benefit to that is that they have their um, room and board fees covered. So that's a big savings if you take into account that room and board will cost around 10,000 grand at most colleges. So that's a really great way to start. There's a lot of other clubs and organizations like we just mentioned. Whether you start your own club or you join another club that already exists and you want to become part of the leadership of those clubs, obviously there has to be some sort of organization that happens and planning those events. So that could be also a really great way to get involved in those. If you're really passionate about a certain topic or club or organization, it's really great to show some interest in that and start growing in that sense. Student government, usually not first year students. Not a lot of first year students get involved in student government, but by the time they're sophomores or juniors or second or third years, it's a great thing to start looking into that if you're really interested, especially if you're looking at careers in the social sciences. That can really look really great on a resume. Greek life, so fraternities and sororities also have their own forms of leadership that provides a lot of really great experience for those students that are going to be living in those houses. And maybe Jennifer or Jeff, who are on the call, can also share a little bit more about what that means, what it could look like to be part of leadership in a frat or a sorority.
Actually, one of the things that I really enjoyed about the fraternity was all of the opportunities that there were for leadership positions. Even as a young college student, there were opportunities to be, in the freshman class within leadership. And then also the fraternity that I was a part of was associated with a college. And so they encouraged leadership within the College of Agriculture Sciences or the College of Forestry as well. And then as you move up, there are different opportunities to be on committees, and then the executive leadership team within the fraternity as well, which gives students really good opportunities to have real world experience working with a variety of different people on issues that are real to them, real to the members of the house and the fraternity. And then also just how to manage finances and real finances within a budget of a fraternity. So I feel like there are a lot of good experiences that students can get within leadership in Greek life as well. On top of just the local house, I would say there's also leadership opportunities at the university level to become involved with the IFC, the Interfraternity Council, or if you're in a sorority, to be involved with the sorority leadership of campus. So again, just ways to continue looking for resume builders as you're in college.
Yeah, I just the same. I mean, I was definitely had an opportunity to be involved in leadership with my sorority, and I really appreciated that chance, and just a great way again to meet more people, to be involved, to practice your leadership skills. And I think that it's a great safe place to do that sort of thing. So, and the nice thing about, like for me and my sorority, is it was girls that I knew I had a lot of things that I had in common with them. So that made it really fun too.
The last thing I had on this list was to become a student representative or a committee member. And that sounds kind of vague, but all around most colleges and universities, there's going to be asks of students to voice or represent the student body in various different ways, whether it be on like budget committees, where it be in committees regarding res life, recreations, you name it. There's going to be opportunities for students to voice their desires and their needs and their opinions on a variety of different topics. And there's always great opportunities for students to get involved in that way and become part of a committee, scholarship committees even, to really grow and learn about those processes too. And those are all of them are really great resume builders, because when you apply for jobs, scholarships, or even to grad school or something else, those are all things that could really go on those resumes. And when you're just starting out, anything really helps. So this is one of the resources that Oregon State University offers, and most college campuses or universities will offer something similar to this that's really meant to help support students find jobs or prepare for interviews, develop their resumes or cover letters. So this is OSU's version of that, including for students seeking admission to grad schools. But the one thing I want to really focus on here is, because we're talking about extracurriculars on campus, is I want to demonstrate the opportunities that students have on colleges. One of the things they can do is apply for internships. OSU is really keen on making sure that students have paid internship opportunities because we believe that they're going to be putting in some work and that is worth something, so they should be compensated for their work. There's a lot of research opportunities for students to gain some of that experience. And also there's work study opportunities. So those students that have marked on their FAFSA applications that they're interested in work study, depending if they're eligible or not, can have that extra opportunity to apply for those certain jobs that are exclusively for work study students. And so that gives you a better opportunity of getting those part-time jobs as a student too. And usually those work really well as a student because they're going to be balanced around your student schedule. I'm going to click on this link just to show you a quick demonstration of what it looks like when you go into the job portal from Oregon State University. So here you can search for different types of opportunities. Right now it says that there's 136 different options of positions that are open for students to work on campus. The very first one that shows up is with the University Housing and Dining Services as a student food service worker. But if you go through this list, you're gonna find such a large variety of opportunities to work as a student. And one of the recommendations that we give students is that if they're gonna work, not just to find a job, but to find a job that's gonna be at least somewhat related to your career goals, because that'll help you gain some of the skills and experience that you will need eventually as you grow into your career field. And that would also look really great on your resume as well. One type of opportunity that Jennifer and I had identified earlier was student ambassadors, which can be a really great opportunity because at some colleges, student ambassadors are the ones that become the face of the college or the residence hall that they live in. So for example, here I'm showing a page that shows one for the Honors College. And what that means is that you're sort of promoting that program or that residence hall. And a lot of times for those students, they actually provide a room that they have to maintain looking well because it's going to be shown during tours, and that student is going to be talking about that program and maybe giving them tours around their building. But that student is also going to benefit because a lot of times those programs allow for the student to have a reduced price for that dorm or that residence hall. So it's a really good benefit to students. And there's just, like I said, there's just so many different job opportunities that really students should take advantage of.
We were going to talk a little bit about the research options, and neither Jose and I have done research at the university, but there are definitely some job opportunities that have to do with the research end of things, and that will definitely have a lot to do with your career that you're going into. And there's amazing opportunities to do research at the university. And if you are interested and that's something that you think you would like to do, it's again another great way to really increase your what am I trying to say, Jose? Your experience in your field and really build a resume. And a lot of times that'll work into even more jobs. So
so that is one really great thing. If you're interested in a career path, especially in the world of academia, whether it be in the sciences or any other fields, that's a really great opportunity that a university like Oregon State offers, because there's a lot of opportunity for students to work with professors and doctors in their field as professionals, developing studies in that field. And that's a really great opportunity for students to connect with those professionals and also work on some research with them. That's not something that's available at all colleges and universities, but because Oregon State is a land-grant institution, there happens to be a lot of really great opportunities to do research.